Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Phumelele Zondo with your technology and social media news. Remember, it is SABC Network. Now, that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, to the poll is asking you if you are managing to protect your data online or data of your clients. This, as it was a data privacy day just a couple of days ago. Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what's coming up in this particular program. We have details about what learners need to get into STEM programs at university. We have information on monetization of gaming. And in our conversation, we'll look at the smartphone industry, why it struggled in 2022, and the tech that's needed for it to do well in 2023. Macrotrends.net reports that South Africa's unemployment rate in the age group below 25 is sitting at over 60%. We often see posts of young university graduates on social media saying they can't find employment. But experts say there are professions with a shortage of skills that young people must consider when looking for university programs.
Well, it's quite a range. I'm thinking about engineering. We still need a lot of engineers. We've heard about us importing engineers from other countries. We still need a lot of people in the computer science space, which is coding in today's language. So we want people there to develop software for us, to develop gadgets for us that we can use either in our factories or in our schools or in our government in order for us to be able to take care of data and be able to see what we can, glean out of it.
However, entrance to these programs is not just a metric pass.
The basis of any school learner wanting to go to the sciences and the tech is maths. You can do science and pass physical sciences, but basically you need maths because maths is what demonstrates that you can follow the rigor that is required in order to learn those subjects that have got to do with technology.
On realizing that many kids aren't given the right tools to get into university programs where the shortage is, Dimension Data says they decided to step in.
Initially, we went and partnered up with principals of different schools. I think it was Tembisa, Sam and Alex, Sam and Dipsloot. They just said, we want a partner. And they just grabbed the opportunity and ran with us. And we'd say we don't want all the students in grade 10, 11, and 12. We just want 2, we just want 3 come to our program. And because they live around the same areas, it's easy for us to organize a transport for them to be brought to our facilities every Saturday. So it was not difficult. It was more of willingness between us and the school to be able to have the program.
The learners are from township schools. They say they went beyond what they learn in school.
The teaching helped a lot. It also bridged a lot of gaps that I maybe missed at school. It also shined the diamond. It made me brighter. It made sure that I want to get the results that I can.
In grade 10, you just have your interview and you are called. In grade 11, you have extra classes on your science subjects as well as English, and they give you extra assistance in computer studies as well. And we were also taught cybersecurity as well as IoT.
They're now going to some of the top universities in South Africa on scholarship.
I'll be studying at Wits, Bachelor of Science, Mathematical Sciences. The reason why I chose that one is because I knew maths since I was young. I did math. I got level 7 from grade 8 until my grade 12. So yeah, I thought, okay, it's a perfect subject for me.
I'll be going to the University of Cape Town. I'll be studying Bachelor of Science, Computer Science. I feel like I'm studying computer science because it's a broad field. I can go many places in life with it because now with the world of technology expanding and growing, I feel like I can do a lot with that qualification.
Dimension Data says the program was a pilot in Gauteng and the plan is to take it to other parts of South Africa. They've already started the work in the Eastern Cape and say KwaZulu-Natal is likely going to be next. The years of COVID-19 lockdowns did hurt mobile phone industries just a little bit, but they are back and they're launching a few new devices as the year begins.
Smartphone shipments have dropped nearly by 20% in the past year as consumer demand softens amid economic uncertainties. This is the largest decline according to IDC, and it contributed to 2022 having the lowest annual shipment of smartphones since 2013. Industry experts say this has resulted in higher prices of smartphones and has weakened the consumer demand significantly.
Let's do the math. I mean, if you want to spend 30,000 Rand on a phone, assuming you're going to buy it over a contract, it's probably around 1,200 Rand a month. What would you have? Would you have rather a grocery budget of 1,200 Rand or spend 1,200 Rand on a phone? Obviously, it depends on individuals and households where their priorities lie. But at the moment, and I did a story in this week with regards to smartphone sales, smartphone shipments, they've declined significantly across the world. And that is a sign, and one of the reasons they cited is that people are spending more on groceries and household items. And this creates a problem for smartphone manufacturers because you're sitting with surplus stock on the hand, completed manufactured products. And that creates a chain reaction to chip manufacturers, screen manufacturers, and everything. So there is going to be a concerted effort by, I think, these brands to actually get rid of the stock or to get the stock out as quickly as possible so we can continue with the cycle.
Consumers say they would want to buy the latest models but are reluctant to pay more for that new shiny phone.
You have to prioritize when it comes to these things. At the end of the day, a smartphone calls, it sends messages, and it takes pictures if you need that type of thing. And having like the highest end of device, I think for most people is not really a priority right now. You got to put food on the table, you got to put petrol in your tank, you got to do all of those things. There's a lot of other things that take priority over a device that's going to be, irrelevant in the next 8 or so months. So, there's just other pressing issues, especially in the context of South Africa.
While shipments from all of the top sellers are down, smartphone companies are forging ahead to launch their latest offerings. Huawei launched its P50 Pro, the first smartphone flagship to land in the country after the Mate 40 series.
So we have a dual flagship strategy. Mate series is the ultimate flagship, the leader of the pack. It's for performance users, business users predominantly, that require a little bit more out of the devices, but at the same time having exceptional photography. And then our second flagship is the P series, which everybody's familiar with and we have a lot of equity in, and that is photography centric primarily. South Africa, to answer your question, South Africa is a really important, like the example I gave you now, of how well we're doing in this market. It's a key market outside China for Huawei, and therefore every product we launch, if it's a flagship and an important product, South Africa will be one of the first territories to get them.
Samsung is clearly trying to demonstrate a willingness to be aggressive on pricing as it is launching 3 new Galaxy smartphones.
We've just announced our Galaxy S23, and this is the most epic Galaxy smartphone that we've ever built. Just to mention some of the key improvements and enhanced features that we've got. We've seen it's got a boundary-breaking 200 megapixel camera, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's a leap in mobile technology. It's another step forward in terms of Samsung innovation. But what this camera can do for you, it's just simply amazing. The amount of vibrance, the amount of clarity and crispness and color that comes through, and the amount of detail that you're able to capture with this camera, it's just simply amazing. Second to that, obviously, we've got the enhanced AI, the enhanced One UI as well, which gives users much more flexibility, much more ability to customize the device and use the phone as you wish to use it. So whether it's from privacy and security, whether it's setting up your phone to do certain things at certain times, and just making everyday life just so much easier using the One UI.
The company says it has also shifted much of its focus to the budget tier, the A series.
I think the consumer right now is looking and thinking about, when I make a purchase, this needs to be a proper decision, an investment that I'm making into good technology. I need innovation that could last me longer, perhaps. So we are seeing some of the term of contracts extending and the like. But the customer is going, one, for brands they trust, brands where they know that there's a good after-sales environment and all these kind of things. But again, they're looking for the innovation that's going to see them through the next 2 years.
Trade-in programs continue to be the major catalyst for both new and used phone sales via telco and retail sales channels.
We've been working hard, as well as the mobile operators, to bring tools to market that allow greater affordability of these products. So think about our trade-in program, where if you're buying up into the new Galaxy S23, you can get a 10,000 Rand guaranteed return on your old device. Obviously there's some T's and C's, but broadly speaking, we support that there. And we're just making it that much more accessible.
Analysts say a weaker smartphone market might not be good for industry giants like Samsung and Apple, but it could be good for consumers looking for deals.
Gaming is a multi-billion rand industry worldwide, but we do find out that a lot of South African gamers haven't been making the huge bucks that some of their counterparts in Asia, Europe and North America have been making. But it's not all doom and gloom. Some are making money from gaming. Here's how.
This is Riyasat Ibrahim, a young South African gamer who has turned his passion to a money-making machine.
I started playing at a young age, and as years went on, gaming started to grow as a sport. And with the likes of Main Gaming, they brought a tournament at Clearwater Mall, and I started off I moved to Johannesburg at the age of around 8 to 9. So 3-4 years on, I was quite well aware of, privileged to develop my talent in esports. So I had a go at it, and it was Clearwater Mall that was my first tournament that I participated in, and that's where it all started. Is just attending one tournament and seeing where your talent lies.
The most popular way for professional gamers to make money is by competing in tournaments, like Kaylin Moodley, who participated in a gaming tournament hosted by South African football team Sundowns at last year's Rage Expo.
Yeah, so it was a very good experience, Sundowns having their first competitive tournament in FIFA. Had to qualify online. There were many qualifiers, but I think overall, of course, I had a fantastic experience winning the whole thing.
Riyasat too had a similar opportunity, only with a different soccer team.
So Fierce Gaming hosted a big tournament where the prize pool was Africa's biggest tournament. The prize pool was 1.5 million, and that's where Pirates stepped into the scene. And I know it was from the year 2016 that Orlando Pirates managed to form the esports team, and now it's 7 years on since 2016. And we're still going, and the future is bright to see which other teams step into the space. But I think so, for Pirates and the football club, it was a good step forward in the gaming scene.
In South Africa, the gaming industry has over the years seen growth, especially among Gen Zs. This may be due to the evolution of mobile technology and investment in advanced and affordable smartphones that allow gaming to be more accessible.
It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. After the break, we chat about those tech trends that are predicted to take over the year 2023. It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Now, 2020 to the year 2022 were not easy years, especially for the smartphone industry, because there was a problem with the shipment of devices. This is because of a number of reasons, and that include that chip shortage that we had at a certain point, but there were other issues that were there as well. And Akram Mohammed is here to talk to us about some of that, as well as the launch of the new Mate 50 Pro that Huawei is launching. Hello, and thank you very much for joining us, Akram.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with that struggle to ship devices. It affected just about everybody. Why was that?
Supply chains, constraints. I think COVID lockdowns has affected the supply chains across the industry. It wasn't just a mobile issue. There was shortage of PlayStations and PS5s, I remember when it launched, and Xbox, latest generation devices and consoles. Car manufacturers struggled that they could not produce enough. So because we're in a global supply chain and every industry is dependent on each other, once you have chipset shortages or any kind of shortages, material and components, it affects across the board. And this is a serious issue that all industries face, all companies and economies at the same time. But as you correctly mentioned, that has started to reach some sort of recovery towards the latter part of 2021 and into 2022. And right now we're seeing the benefits of that, and countries across the world and organizations are starting to pick up their numbers again, and hopefully we can be able to sustain that for a longer period.
You had a few issues of your own, despite the fact that you launched a couple of devices. How did the last, let's say, 2 years go for you? There were Nova devices as well.
Yeah. Well, if we really look at it, it's almost 4 years now since the sanctions from the US hit around 2019. We're now in 2023. So that's a long period of time, and technically we shouldn't be here having this discussion today. But Huawei is still a strong number 2 in South Africa, and this is across the board on our mobile phones business. That is really, really impressive, and we are really proud of that. South African customers know the brand, they know the quality, they know what we have to offer, and we've been improving. I think that's a lot to do with our innovation, but the investment we put back in research and development to improve our products over a period of time. And that's only smartphones, but if you look at our ecosystem, we're much more than a mobile phone company. We also produce other devices such as wearables, audio products, laptops, and in each one of those segments, when we introduced into South African market, we were in the top 3, even in a short period of time. So that is a testament to the value. And today you would have heard that we also launched our Power M solar solution of inverters and batteries and all of these things. So we are a technology company first and then a mobile phone manufacturer. And I think that is vital. We're doing extremely well thanks to our customers.
And 2023 has been called the year of AI, and all kinds of things have been happening, and people are talking about chatbots that are doing incredible things. What sort of AI can we expect from you? Are you playing in that space, especially when it comes to your mobile devices?
We are one of the leaders in that space. Today we launched Mate 50 Pro. We launched AI computational photography and AI on-device, native on-device processing back with our Mate 10 series. It was the first device in the world that had an NPU, a neural processing unit, that can be able to run AI algorithms and processing and natural language translation, natural language processing on device itself without having to send it to the cloud. So we've been in the games from a while back in the mobile space, but AI is so much beyond that. And we have a division within Huawei that focuses on artificial intelligence. That's not just for mobile phones, but also in terms of automation, AI for the motor vehicle, AI for the smart factories of the future, the smart farms of the future, and all these different use cases. So we are one of the leading organizations globally in artificial intelligence.
There are other technologies that come with the new devices now. You mentioned the fact that it's very difficult for it to crack. What causes that?
So when we're saying very difficult for it to crack, and it's more crack resistant, that's the front screen. And I think a lot of people, especially when you're buying a flagship, you're spending this kind of money for it, you want it to be durable, and screens cost a lot. So Huawei spends about 15%, and this has been for many years, of our annual revenues globally on research and development. And through this research and development, we have learned that cracked screens is one of the biggest pain points for our consumers, and we've been studying for a long time how do we improve that. So we've run a nanocrystallization process And what that does is it allows us to be able to create the Kunlun glass, which is our IP, that is 10 times drop resistant compared to other mobile phone glass on the market. It is so drop resistant that it's the first phone in the world to have a 5-star rating for glass resistance by Switzerland's SGS.
4 cameras.
Yeah.
Why?
I think 4, 5, 6, 10. Why? It's all about how they work together, not the number of cameras. I always say there's so many choices out there. There's smartphone manufacturers and various OEMs, and everybody has great cameras. So what does Huawei do differently? It's not just the number, but it's how all of them work together. We've got wide angle, we've got the latest ultra aperture like I mentioned to you, we've got the macro, but along with our ISP, along with the computational photography and XMEG, all these things come together to be able to make you and I'm not judging, I don't know what your capability is, but I'm not a pro photographer. I don't understand white balance and ISO and all of these kind of stuff. I just want to point and shoot and get amazing photographs. And that's what Mate 50 Pro allows you to do. So it's not just the 4 cameras, but it's the entire photography experience.
All right, let's leave it there. Thanks, Akram Mohammed. All right, so that's Akram Mohammed there from Huawei, South Africa. With that, let's take a short break. Remember, you can find us on SABC Network. Now, that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Stay with us. SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome back. Now, here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the technology space.
Nigerian artist Malika Fagbua is using artificial intelligence to reimagine life for African elderly people by showcasing near real-life pictures and videos of them walking down the fashion ramp and on the beach. He came up with Elders series, a catalog of pictures and videos showing white-haired women and bearded men strutting the runway for a virtual fashion show in Afrocentric attire, including ornamental neck and armbands.
The Elder series came from me trying to showcase the elderly people in a different way that you don't normally see them. Because I feel they're marginalized. I feel like people don't talk about them, in the community or anything. So I wanted to see them in a different space. And what inspired that was my personal relationship with my mom as well. So I wanted to see, always, imagine the elderly people in a place that is not either in a sad space or in a suppressed state.
Afegbua started posting some of his work on social media and it went viral. And now in Israel. Ehudith Bracha Serchuk narrowly escaped death when her family fled Nazi allied forces storming the Crimean city of Odessa in 1941, saved only by a lost sandal which made her miss her place on a passenger ship shortly before it was bombed. A lifetime later, 86-year-old Serchuk is retelling her story via an artificial intelligence service generating images that will leave an enduring record of her trauma to future generations.
I feel that I'm sitting with brave people. Each one of them have a unique story and they have been through terrifying stuff, but they are still alive today, they are still functioning, and it's incredible to hear and to see it, basically to generate it into photos. I feel that this is our national duty to remember and not forget.
The AI-generated images were presented at an exhibition in the southern Israeli city of Ashkelon on the International Holocaust Memorial Day.
Data Privacy Day was a couple of days ago, and this week our Twitter poll has been asking you what you think about your strength of protection of the data that you have online, whether it's your personal data or data of your clients if you run a business. All right, and that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network. Now, that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It is News Network at sabc.co.za on email. From me, Spumelele Zondi, and the rest of the team right here in Pretoria. Have a good one. Bye-bye.